Hi everyone, Benjamin here from English Classes Online. In today's lesson, our focus will be on nouns with special meanings. In this lesson, you will learn about nouns that have some special meaning. And so, if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Make sure you click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will be notified instantly. Without much ado, let's dive into the lesson right away. We want to begin with the lesson objectives. So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to do the following. 1, define a noun. 2, explain countable and uncountable nouns. 3, list nouns that have both countable and that can be used both as countable and uncountable nouns. All right. And then explain their special meanings with examples. So let's begin to take this one by one. First of all, what is a noun? A noun is a naming word. That's exactly what a noun is. It is that word that identifies a person or a thing or an idea. And so whenever you call the name of someone or the name of something, that name is a word, is a noun, because a noun is a naming word. Okay? And so it is a word that names a person, thing, place, or idea in a sentence. Okay? That's exactly what a noun is. Well, you can check the description section or browse through my entire channel, especially the playlist on grammar lessons. You will find other video lessons on nouns. You will also find rules for using nouns, rules for pluralizing nouns, and so on and so forth. You will also learn about nouns under parts of speech. Okay. So let's look at countable noun. A countable noun refers to things you can count: 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. Okay. If you can count something, then that countable thing has a name, and that name is a noun. For example, you can count the number of plates in the kitchen. You can count pots, books, students in a class, boxes, cups, buckets, tables, chairs, etc. These are all countable nouns. What about uncountable noun? It refers to nouns, just as the name implies. Uncountable means cannot be counted. So an uncountable noun is the name of anything you cannot count. For example, water, advice, news, peace, glass, tea, etc. You can't count such things. Excuse me. Let's now begin to look at nouns that can be both countable and uncountable. And so when you find an uncountable noun, and then you can use it as a singular or as a plural, then it must have special meanings. Okay, so let's begin to look at them. Many nouns can be used both as countable and uncountable nouns, depending on the meaning conveyed in the sentence. Now, examples of such versatile nouns are as follows. Let's begin to look at them: time, hair, chicken, paper, memory, coffee, water, beer, tea, soda, room, iron, glass, work, youth. and many others, okay? So we are going to look at them one by one and then look at their examples and how they can be used in sentences. We want to begin with time. Time is an uncountable noun, but it has countable meaning. So let's look at one of the meanings of time. You can use time to refer to the number of occurrences. For example, how many times have I told you not to do that? You see, we have added s to time, which means we have pluralized it. Okay, so it becomes countable in its special meaning. For example, a specific event or occasions. You can use time to refer to a specific event or occasion. For example, we had a good time in Dubai, a good time. So you are looking at time as having a singular form, a good time. That is one good time. Concept of time, when we look at time as something that exists in minutes, hours, years, and so on. So time in that sense is uncountable, okay? For example, what time is it? Or what is the time? Now, if you are looking at time from that angle, it is uncountable. Another example, this time next week, I will be in London. This time next week, I will be in London. So another noun that has special meaning is hair, you know, the hair on your hair. Now, we can give it countable meaning if we are looking at hair as individual strands, the pieces, if you like. So how do we use it in a sentence? I'm quoting from the Bible right now, Matthew chapter 10, verse 30. But the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So if you are looking at hair in its individual strands, you know, if you can remove one hair, you know. So in that case, you can talk about it as something countable. But the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So you see, they are countable. That's the meaning. It's a special meaning. Then we can also use it in another example. There is a hair in this food. All right. Or I found two hairs in the soup. Okay. So something like that. But then it is uncountable when we are referring to hair in general. Okay, for example, Jane has blonde hair. It is uncountable in that sense. Or I am having my hair cut this evening. I am having my hair cut this evening. So if you use hair in that sense, it is uncountable. Okay. So let's continue, and then we look at the next item, and that is chicken. So if you are referring to chicken, the animal, okay, then you can count the number of chickens on the farm or in the kitchen, okay? For example, grandma keeps chickens in the backyard. You know, when you look at chicken, you know, as that animal, the bird, then you can count the number of chickens. But then when you are talking about chicken, the meat you eat, then it is uncountable. In that case, you can say, I'd like to have fried chicken. You can't count it because it refers to the meat that you eat. Then let's look at paper, another noun that we can use both as countable and uncountable nouns. Now, when we use paper as countable, we are referring, number one, to newspapers. So you can talk about, if you are looking at newspaper, for example, you can say, well, I bought a national daily, or go and get me one of the national dailies, or you can, one of the national papers, get me a national paper. So you are referring to a newspaper. So you are looking at it as countable. You can also look at paper as individual documents. For example, if the policeman asked for my papers, so in that case, you can add S to papers. You can also look at paper as countable. We are looking at it as marking exam papers, okay? Then it is uncountable when we are looking at paper in general. The material is uncountable. We can only use partitives when we talk about it. For example, give me a sheet of paper, but you cannot say give me a paper because you are referring to the material which cannot be counted. Another example is, I need to buy some paper. Our printer is all out. When you are looking at the paper you use in typing, then it is uncountable. But if you want to pluralize an uncountable noun, you need to use partitives. For example, give me a sheet of paper, or give me 2 sheets of paper. But you cannot say give me 2 papers or give me 1 paper, because you are referring to the material which is uncountable. Now, the next one is memory. Memory can either be countable or uncountable. For example, when we use memory as countable, we are referring to specific memories of past events. So you can talk of good memories or awful memories and so on and so forth. For example, Mark has a bad memory for names. Or Grandpa believes that happy memories are essential to our mental health. Happy memory, that is the number of events that you can remember, that makes you feel good, okay? Then when you are looking at uncountable, looking at memory as uncountable, you are referring to the ability to remember in general. And so that concept is uncountable, okay? For example, I have a terrible memory. I always forget people's names, okay? Then let's look at tea, coffee, beer, and so on and so forth. Then we can use this either as countable or uncountable. And don't forget, when we are looking at an uncountable noun from its countable perspective, we are looking at its special meaning, okay? For example, T, it's obvious that T cannot be counted, but then we can deliberately use it as a countable noun. And in that case, we have something else in mind, not the tea, not the substance, not the liquid itself, but we are then referring to tea, if you like, metaphorically, because we are using it to refer to something else. For example, you can look at tea as a specific number of cups, or if it is water, for example, a specific number of water, specific number of tea. Example, could you give us 2 teas, please? 2 teas, please. So here you are referring to 2 cups of tea. Could you bring me a coffee? Coffee here means a cup of coffee. So when we are talking about the drink in general, then we are referring to its uncountable meaning. For example, I enjoy drinking coffee. So when you look at coffee, the substance, the liquid that you drink, it is uncountable because really you can't count it. I enjoy drinking tea. Mary complains that her husband drinks much beer. Much beer, okay? So let's look at room also. If we are looking at room in its countable meaning, then we are looking, of course, we are looking at it as the specific places in a house, apartment, or hotel, For example, you can talk about, rooms in the hotel. They decided to book 2 rooms in the hotel. The 2 men slept in one room while their sisters slept in the other room. Henry's house has 4 rooms. So when you are looking at rooms as the physical space or spaces in a house, then you are referring to its countable meaning. But then we can look at room from its uncountable perspective. And in that case, we are using room to refer to space. And space is uncountable. So, for example, could you make some room for the computer in that desk? Room here is just to make a space, okay? There is enough room for her in the car. Excuse me. Then let's look at glass, another noun that has special meaning. And then if we look at glass, which ordinarily is uncountable, if we begin to look at it from its countable perspective, then of course we are referring to it as a drinking cup. For example, you can say Jack drank 4 whole glasses of whiskey and began to misbehave. So you are looking at glasses here as cups, not the material, not the substance, okay? Then, can I have a glass of water, please? In that case, you are looking at glass as cups. But then, looking at glass from its uncountable perspective, then we are looking at the material itself, glass. The material you can use in constructing a glass window or the car window or the windscreen and so on and so forth. The material is uncountable. So in that case, you can say the door is made of glass. Okay? He cut himself on a piece of broken glass. So it's uncountable. So, and this is where we draw the curtain on today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed today's class. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you share the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you are entirely new to the channel and you have not subscribed to this channel, this is the appropriate time for you to click on the subscribe button below. If you really got value from this lesson, then you can just give us your support by clicking on the subscribe button. And once you have subscribed, you need to simply click on the bell icon so that whenever a new video is uploaded on the channel, you will receive notification instantly, notifying you that a new video has been uploaded, okay? So I look forward to seeing you in the next class. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you for being part of today's episode. If you have any comments, any suggestions or questions, kindly leave them in the comments section below. Goodbye for now and remain blessed. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video. Thank you and